Sabbath. All right, y'all. And so I hope y'all enjoy this lesson today. It's another touchy subject that we're going to be dealing with today. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This subject is a little taboo in our communities. And so I've been having a discussion with some brothers about drinking. And so let me first off say that we don't promote drinking. We don't tell people, yeah, you got to drink or anything of that sort. And if you got a problem drinking, then you need to go and get you some help. Call upon the name of the Lord and go and get you some help.
Amen.
Right? And that comes with drinking, drugs, whatever it is. If it's sex and you got a problem with it, then you need to call upon the name of the Lord and get you some help. Everybody understand? Gambling, that's right. Thank you, Rob. Gambling, you got a problem with that too? Then you need to go and call upon the name of the Lord and get you some help.
Amen.
Because you know, a lot of people go from one addiction to another.
Yeah.
You know, so you got an addiction, you can't handle your alcohol, you need to call upon the name of the Lord and get you some help. So the name of the lesson today, though, is entitled, Can Servants of God Drink Alcohol? Because, you know, we see that Jesus made wine. That was his first miracle that he did. He made wine, right? Some people say, well, that wine wasn't fermented. It wasn't alcohol. And I'm asking them, how do you know? You mean tell me he's going around making grape juice? Why would he call it wine? He just called it juice. Or fruit of the vine. So now we're going to deal with this subject today. Like I said, it's a little taboo in our community, talking about drinking and everything. Most people don't talk about it. And so we're going to deal with it today. And we're going to show you, according to the Bible, whether a servant of God can drink alcohol. And I'll stress the word alcohol because some people say the wine or the alcohol, so the wine that they made, it wasn't fermented. And fermented is a process that breaks down grapes, and after a while, it turns into alcohol. All right, we're at Psalm 119 and 33. Psalm 119 and 33. Go ahead and read.
Teach me, O Lord, the ways of thy statutes, and I shall keep it unto the end. Give me understanding, and I shall keep thy law. Yea, I shall observe it with my whole heart. Make me to go in the path of thy commandments. For therein do I delight. Incline my heart unto thy testimonies, and not to covetousness. Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in thy way. Establish thy word.
He said, turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in thy way. Turn my eyes away from beholding vanity. Go ahead and read. You know, things that don't mean nothing. You know, keep my eyes away from, because drinking really don't mean nothing. But it was a big thing in Israel, though. In ancient Israel and in Israel now, too. Drinking is a big thing. I mean, it was so big that they had wine presses, and we're going to show you a couple of them. And then I'm going to show you something else about drinking, too. They had beer. And alcohol. When I say alcohol, I'm talking about strong drink. Whiskey, wine, whiskey and brandy and stuff like that. Strong drink. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
38. Establish thy word unto thy servant, who's devoted to thy fear.
Go ahead.
Turn away my reproach, which I fear, for thy judgments are good. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in thy righteousness. Let thy mercy...
You see what he said? I'm sorry, verse 38. We kind of read kind of fast there, brother. Establish thy word unto thy servant. And so when we read the book today, that's what we're doing. We're establishing his word to his servants. So he says, establish thy word unto thy servant who is devoted to thy fear. Verse 39, go ahead.
Turn away my reproach, which I fear, for thy judgments are good. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in thy righteousness. Let thy mercies come unto me, come also unto me, O Lord, even thy salvation according to thy word.
Go ahead.
So shall I have wherewith.
Now you see how you're going to get salvation according to his word, not according to men's word. Because, you know, people got all type of definitions of salvation and how you get it. But the only way you're going to really get it is by the Bible. The word of the Lord. That's how you're going to get salvation. Go ahead and read.
42. So shall I have wherewith to answer him that reproacheth me. For I trust in thy word.
See, because, you know, men have been reproaching me, telling me that you can't drink, and if you drink, you're a sinner, and you're a preacher, and you drink. I'm like, well, you know, I don't drink like that, but, you know, we might watch some boxing every now and then. I might throw one back, maybe two, a couple of light beers. Take me a little while to recover, so I don't drink no more, really. I'm talking about light beer, so I just kind of like, I just leave it alone. I mean, I had beer in my refrigerator for 2 months, and that's light beer. So skip down to verse 25. Skip to verse 25. Go ahead.
125?
I'm sorry, 125. I'm sorry.
I am thy servant. Give me understanding.
I am thy servant. Give me understanding. And that's what we're going to get today. We're going to get some understanding in this. Go ahead and read.
That I may know thy testimonies.
Now. Let's go to Philippians, the 2nd chapter. Philippians 2. Philippians 2. And we're going to pick it up at verse 5. Philippians 2 and 5. Philippians 2 and 5. Go ahead and read.
Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who, being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
Now look, we're looking at the number one servant right here of God. And that is Jesus. He is the number one servant of God. Go ahead and read. He served God better than anybody. Go ahead and read.
But made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant.
He took upon him the form of what?
Servant.
A servant. And so if Jesus, we ought to follow after Jesus because he's the number one servant of God. The best servant that ever lived is Jesus Christ. He said, made himself of no reputation, took upon him the form of a servant,
and was made in the likeness of men.
And was made in the likeness of men. Go ahead.
And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross.
Now, did it say he humbled himself and became, and being found in fashion as a man and a spirit? Did it say that? Because, you know, you got some people say, well, he was 100% spirit and he was 100% man. Where do you read this? And then if he was 100% spirit, 100% man, how did he die? How did he die? Because spirits don't die. So he said, but made himself of no reputation, took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even the death of the cross. Now, so now we're looking at the number one servant now of God. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Let's go now. Let's go to 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter. 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter. Now let's see how he became the number one servant of God. 1 Peter 2 and 21. 1 Peter 2 and 21. What qualified him as the number one servant of God? 1 Peter 2 and 21. Boy, that water sure is good today. 1 Peter 2 and 21. Go ahead and read it.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
Oh, he left us an example that we should follow his steps. Go ahead and read.
Who did no sin.
Who did what?
No sin.
No sin. See, that's how he became the #1 servant. Because he did no sin. Everybody else has sinned. So nobody else qualifies to be the #1 servant except Christ. Because he did no sin. Go ahead and read.
Neither was guile found in his mouth.
Neither was guile found in his mouth. No perverseness in his mouth. Let's go now. Let's go to John, the 2nd chapter. Because let's look at the first miracle Jesus did. John 2:1. John 2:1. I don't understand how people don't see this. And then when they read it, oh, there wasn't no vermin, there wasn't alcohol. Well, how do you know? How do you know? Because I'm going to show you Jesus came eating and drinking. And I'm going to show you he was drinking wine. We at John 2:1, John 2:1. Go ahead and read it.
And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee. And the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples and the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, they have no wine. Jesus said unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee?
Now you know how we say, man, what am I going to do with you? So Jesus said this about his mother. What have I to do with you? Go ahead and read.
Mine hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servant, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it.
See, she ain't even worried about whether he was going to do it or not. She said, whatever he tell you to do, just go ahead and do it. Because she knows he's going to do it. Go ahead and read.
And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doeth set forth good wine.
See, I was like, everybody else, they was setting forth good wine and everything. But what did he say about Jesus' wine? Go ahead.
And when men have when men have well drunken, that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine till now.
He said, man, you held back on the good stuff. He said, and said unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. So they drinking wine. I mean, you don't go to no party, no wedding party to drink juice. Unless it's a sober wedding party or something like that. Other than that, when you go, because you want to get a little lifted, right? It's a joyous time. You get married, right? And you see the groom, the groom, he's stumbling around and stuff. He done got drunk. He's having a good time. Some of the people in the wedding, you got to carry them out. Because they in there drinking and they drank too much. But you don't go to no wine to drink no grape juice. Because a wedding, you don't go to a wedding to drink grape juice, because a wedding is a joyous occasion. So now he said, look, you held the good stuff out for last. Verse 11, go ahead and read it.
This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him.
Now, why would Jesus, if drinking was a sin, right, why would Jesus make wine if it was a sin? Because Israel going to get drunk, so why would he cause men to get drunk if it was a sin? the book said he was without sin, right? Let's go now. Let's go to Leviticus, the 10th chapter, Leviticus 10. Leviticus 10. We're going to come back to Jesus in a minute. Leviticus 10, and we're going to pick it up at verse 8. Leviticus 10 and 8. Now look at what the Lord told his priests. Look what the Lord told his priests. Leviticus 10 and 8. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord spake unto Aaron, saying, do not drink wine, nor strong drink.
Now wait a minute. He said, don't drink wine or strong drink. When? Go ahead.
Thou, nor thy son with thee. When ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die.
See, now he said when you go into the tabernacle or the congregation, don't drink no wine or strong drink. You know, can you imagine that? The priest coming up in the tabernacle and he drunk? And he come his sons behind him, they drunk. Lord, like, nope. We're not going to have no wine or no strong drink when y'all come into the tabernacle. Never said he couldn't have it. He just said when you come into the tabernacle. Don't come in here and don't come in here having been drinking wine or strong drink. Go ahead and read. Read that verse again.
Do not drink wine nor strong drink. Thou nor thy sons with thee. When ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die.
Go ahead.
It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. And that ye may put difference between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. And that ye may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord hath spoken unto them by the hand of Moses.
Now, let's go now. Let's look at something else real quick. Let's go to Numbers, the 6th chapter. Numbers 6. Numbers, the 6th chapter. So he said, wine, you don't come in here with wine or strong drink, right? Numbers, the 6th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Numbers 6 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite.
Now you see that? A woman can separate herself too as a Nazarite, not just a man. So he said, when speak unto the children of Israel, said to them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite,
to separate themselves unto the Lord.
Go ahead.
He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink.
Oh, so if you're going to separate yourself to the Lord as a Nazarite, man or woman, you're supposed to separate yourself from wine and strong drink. Go ahead and read.
And shall drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liquor.
Neither shall he drink what?
Any liquor of the grapes.
Any liquor of the grapes. So we know now that we're looking at alcohol right here. He said, nor any liquor of the grapes. Go ahead and read.
Nor eat moist grapes or dry. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree.
Now he said all the days of his separation. Keep that in mind now. He never said that a man or a woman couldn't have wine or strong drink. He said if you're going to vow a vow of a Nazarite, then you separate yourself from this wine or the strong drink for as long as your separation is in order. So you got to keep things, you got to rightfully divide the word of truth. You just can't say, well, see, he said no wine and strong drink. When did he say he couldn't have wine and strong drink? When they separate themselves as Nazarites. Verse 4, read it again.
All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. Skip to verse 13.
Skip to verse 13. Go ahead.
And this is the law of the Nazarite. When the days of his separation are fulfilled.
When the days of his separation are fulfilled,
he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Skip to verse 20. Go ahead. What can he do now?
And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. This is holy for the priest.
Go ahead.
And the wave, with the wave, breasts and heave shoulders, and after that the Nazarite may drink wine.
Oh, so after he finishes time of separation, the priest had to go and wave the wave offering before the Lord, and then he could drink wine again. He could drink wine. Man could drink. You could drink wine or a strong drink. I guess the Lord, like us right here, he ain't bringing no strong drink up in here. We can drink a little wine, but no strong drink up in here, right? So now he said, if you're gonna vow the vows of a Nazarite, as long as your separation is, you cannot drink wine or strong drink. But after your separation is over, then you can come near and drink wine again. Now, he mentioned the word liquor, so we're going to look up the word liquor, and we're going to Reader's Digest Encyclopedia, and we're looking up the word liquor.
Liquor, any alcoholic beverage.
Any alcoholic beverage. That's what we're looking at right here. Go ahead and read.
Especially distilled spirits, as whiskey.
That's that strong drink?
Brandy.
That's the strong drink right there. Whiskey and brandy.
Rum.
That's the strong drink.
Etc.
You finished with that?
Yeah.
All right. So now, that's what liquor is. It is wine. It is brand. That strong drink is a brandy. You understand? Rum. I don't mess with that stuff. I tell you, boy, that stuff do you in. But anyway, so now we're looking at liquor right here. And liquor is mentioned a couple more times in the Bible. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. Because we're going to deal with this today. Deuteronomy 20. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Deuteronomy 20 and 1. We won't have nobody coming up in my face saying that no more. Well, you can't drink. The book never said you couldn't drink. Some people, if you got a problem with drinking, then you shouldn't be drinking. And we're going to deal with that a little bit too. Deuteronomy 20 and 1. Deuteronomy 20 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies.
Now hold on one second, because you know the Lord told the man. Now look how important this is when a man digs a vineyard. Look how important this is. Because before you get to the liquor, you got to have a vineyard, right? Grow those grapes, right? Go ahead and read.
When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seeth horses and chariots, and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them. For the Lord thy God is with thee.
Go ahead.
Which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be, when ye are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day into battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble, neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Lord,
like, you know, y'all got to man up. And the priest go and tell them, y'all got to man up. Don't let nobody see y'all trembling. Go ahead and read.
For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you, to fight for you against your enemies.
Go ahead.
To save you. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that hath built a new house, and hath not dedicated?
Go ahead.
Let him go and return to his house.
See, if you just built a new house and you had to go out to battle, he said, look, go back and enjoy your house for a little while. Go back and dedicate it and enjoy your house for a little while. Then you got to go back to battle. Go ahead and read.
Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle.
Go ahead.
And another man dedicated.
Now, and another man dedicated his house. But look what else he's going to say. Go ahead.
And what man is he that hath planted a vineyard, and hath not yet eaten of it?
Go ahead.
Let him also go and return unto his house.
See, if you even planted a vineyard, what were vineyards for? Not just for you to eat the grapes, but then it was for you to make wine too. And you see several references in the Bible using wine and wine press, because this is what Israel, this is a big thing in Israel. Now, we're going to finish that, Rob. What verse you at?
The end of 6. Lest he die in battle and another man eat of it.
Now, we're going to show you a couple of vineyards right here. A couple of vineyards that the children of Israel had. Now, these are Israelite vineyards right here. And don't you know that they still have vineyards in Israel today? Some of the people like Rockefeller, which I ain't going to want to get too deep into that. Rothschild, these people who got vineyards in his big vineyards with distilleries in Israel. And you from Chicago, you know about Rothschilds, the liquor store, but anyway. but they have big distilleries in Israel even today. And so these are some of the vineyards, a couple of the vineyards that people had in Israel. So I just want to get you all to get a sense of what we are dealing with, because this was a big thing in Israel. Drinking was a big deal in Israel. Let's go now. Let's go to, we're going to look up the definition of wine. Because once you get the vineyard and start growing the grapes, then you want to make some wine. So we're going to Reader's Digest, again, dictionary, and we're going to look up wine. Wait a minute. No, not wine. See wine? Yeah, go ahead and read that.
Wine. The fermented juice of the grape.
Oh, the fermented juice of the grape. So when the fermenting process, the grapes break down. Because see, snap the grapes, right, and get the juice, take all the hull out, and then let it ferment or age. Go ahead and read.
Containing various percentages of alcohol by volume.
Oh, so it contains alcohol. After it ferments, it turns into alcohol. Go ahead.
Commonly used as a beverage and in cooking. Wines are often classified as dry or sweet, red or white, distilled or sparkling.
All right. So now, we're dealing with alcohol. We're talking about grapes that have been fermented, that have been turned into alcohol. Now, we're going to show some pictures here of a wine press. These are some ancient wine press in Israel. And there were so many of them. I mean, it's like it was all over the land. See, people that had money in Israel, they had a wine press and vineyards. Remember, who was that? Ahab wanted, I forget the guy's name. He wanted his vineyard. And his wife told, so the guy told Ahab, you can't have my vineyard. You know, this is a family thing, because that's how it was in Israel. You know, you would pass the vineyards on to the next generation. So he had told King Ahab, you can't have my vineyard. And his wife, Jezebel, had the man killed. And then but Ahab went in there and took the man's vineyard. But this was a common thing in Israel, vineyards, where they would go and go in there and then take the grapes, ferment the grapes, and turn it into wine. Alcohol. Does everybody understand?
Amen.
Let's go now. So we're going to look up, because he said that the Nazarite, he couldn't have wine or strong drink. He said the priest, when you come into the tabernacle, you can't have wine or strong drink. We're going to do something a little different, because people don't really deal with this. So we're going to look up strong drink. What is strong drink? Now, this is the Bible dictionary. What is strong drink? Let's read what's highlighted.
Any intoxicating drink other than wine.
Any intoxicating drink other than wine. That would be called strong drinks. But go ahead and read.
Wine was typically diluted with water when drunk at meals or celebrations.
So now they dilute the wine when they, had meals and everything. But strong drink is strong drink. We saw it at brandy, rum. Those are strong drinks. Now, let's go now. We're going to look up something else here. We're going to Revell Bible Dictionary again. We're going to look up beer. Now, I want to show you something here about beer. Because this was something just happened just recently that we're going to show you. Go ahead and read this and then read that. Get that next slide ready.
An alcoholic drink made from grain.
Not beer, an alcoholic drink made from grain. You want to open that door? Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Other versions tend to follow the King James Version, which calls it strong drink.
So some Bibles call beer strong drink. I don't know about it, yeah.
The root verb, shakir, means to be drunken.
So beer, so they weren't just drinking no non-alcoholic beverages, like people call it. Those non-alcoholic. This beer that they was drinking had alcohol in it, and they were getting drunk off of beer. Just like you get drunk off a strong drink. Go ahead.
It seems to refer to any liquor made from grains or dates rather than from grapes.
Go ahead.
Israelite beer jugs have holes visible at the base of the spout to filter out husks of grain.
So no, they had beer jars that they would put holes in the bottom so the husk would come out. So we can get just beer. We ain't drinking no husk. We want some beer, right? So now let's show this slide right here. These beer jars were just found recently, like maybe within a week ago. It says, cheers, scholars brew ancient beer with millennia with old ingredients. So what they did, some of these jugs still had some of the barley in it, right? And so they took some of the barley out of it and brewed it and made some beer, or the yeast rather, and made beer out of it. These are ancient beer jugs right here. It says, scholars from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, the Israel Antiquities, the Authority, Tel Aviv University, and Bel Ilan University isolated, extract, and sequence yeast cells from ancient beer and mead jugs unearthed in excavation around Israel. Now these were just recently discovered. And what they did was took some the yeast cells that were in it and then rebrewed it and made some beer out of it. Now they ain't say nothing about them getting drunk or nothing like that, but still. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? We are dealing with alcohol today. Can servants of God drink alcohol? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Let's go to Deuteronomy 14 chapter.
Normally barley used in brew.
Okay, Deuteronomy 14. Deuteronomy 14. Let's go to Deuteronomy 14, and we're going to pick it up at verse 23. Deuteronomy. And we read this all the time right here. We read this all the time. Deuteronomy 14 and 23. Will you get it, brother? Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thy oil.
Wait a minute. He said, and thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn and of thy wine. See that? Because even the Lord had the priests, even when they made offerings, they would offer up oblation. One of the oblations would be wine. Go ahead and read.
And the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flock, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Go ahead.
And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, then when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth for oxen, for sheep.
Now you notice these are clean animals, right? He said for oxen, or for sheep, what else?
Or for wine.
Or for wine,
Or for strong drink.
Or for strong drink. Now this, where did Moses get this from? Moses didn't come up with this on his own. God told Moses this, or commanded Moses this. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink. Now, can the servant of God drink? Yes, he can. But I'm going to show you, though, if you're getting out of hand with your drinking, then you don't need to be drinking. Go ahead and read.
Or for whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt rejoice.
And thou shalt rejoice, because that's what wine and alcohol does. It's supposed to rejoice the heart. It's supposed to make you merry. You understand? You get a little lifted, you have a little more fun. Finish that.
And thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household.
Thou and thy. Let's go now. Let's go to 2 Peter. 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter. 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to pick up one of the Lord's servants right here. Also drank wine. And not only did he drink wine, he got drunk. But let's pick him up at 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter first. Let's pick him up at 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter. We're going to read one verse, verse 5. 2 Peter 2 and 5. Go ahead and read it.
And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person.
Go ahead.
A preacher of righteousness.
Now you see that? Noah was a preacher of righteousness.
Bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
Now, so Noah was a preacher of righteousness. But look at what Noah did. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord as well. But look at what he did. Let's go now. Let's go to Genesis, the 9th chapter. Genesis 9. You're going to tell me a servant of God can't drink? Noah was a preacher of righteousness. You know he was a servant of God. God saved him and 7 other people out of all the people in the world at that time. You know he was a servant. Genesis, the 9th chapter, verse 18. Genesis 9 and verse 18. When you get it, brother, go ahead and start reading.
And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. Oh,
you see what Noah did? He planted a vineyard. Why did he plant a vineyard? He intended on drinking. So like I done built this ark and everything, and you know got all these animals and all these of my sons and my daughter-in-law. I need me a drink. So he began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard.
And he drank of the wine, and was drunken.
Oh, Noah was drunken. Why? If he had just been a vineyard and it just been grape and he just got the juice out, why would he be drunk? Wine has alcohol. Now you do have some non-alcoholic beverages. But we see right here that Noah was drunk. So he was drinking wine with alcohol. Read that one more time.
And he drank of the wine and was drunken.
Go ahead.
And he was uncovered within his tent.
Go ahead.
And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. And there faces were backwards, and they saw not their father's nakedness.
Go ahead.
And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said,
he woke up from his wine. He probably had a hangover, but he still know what happened. Probably couldn't get to him. He's so drunk. You have people get drunk, they can't, yeah, I'm going to get you. And they can't do nothing. Go ahead and read.
25. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall be unto his brother.
Now, do you know that men during the times of slavery would use this in order to say that this is why y'all serving us? Because, see, y'all were cursed. You black people, y'all cursed. We're not Canaanites. We are Israelites. In fact, right here, was no such thing as no Israelites. So this don't have nothing to do with us. Our people being cursed has something to do with God. And his people don't have nothing to do with no Canaanites. Nothing. Read that verse again.
25. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants. Shall he be unto his brother. Now,
he said, Cursed be Canaan. He didn't say, Cursed be Israel. He didn't say, Cursed be all the Canaanites. He said, Cursed be Canaan. So, Canaan was cursed. Go ahead and read.
And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
And Canaan shall be his servant, Shem's servant, not the Gentile servant, not Esau's servant, not Ishmael's servant, but Shem's servant. Go ahead and read.
God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tent of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died.
Did the book say anything about Noah was in trouble or had sinned against God because he was drunken? We don't read that. We do not read that because it is not a sin to drink. Let's go now. Let's go to Ephesians, the 5th chapter. You don't want to be walking around drunk, though. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to walk around drunk. And we don't advocate people drinking and getting drunk. We had Ephesians, the 5th chapter, Ephesians 5. See, Noah was a preacher of righteousness. And God never told him, well, Noah, I'm going to punish you because you was in your tent drunk. He never said that. Men, in their effort to establish their own righteousness, will tell you that you can't drink. Now, how is it that other men can drink, have fun, you understand, but then a servant of God, he can't drink and have fun? See, that is deception from Satan. You can't do this. As a servant of God, you can't go watch no ball game. You're not supposed to go to the mall. You're not supposed to drink. You're not supposed to do nothing. Only thing you're supposed to do is go to church, come home. You want to listen to some gospel music, that's fine. If you want to watch some gospel programs, that's fine. But as a servant of God, you can't do nothing. You can't have no fun. Well, you keep on thinking that because I'm going to have me some fun. Thinking about taking my wife out tonight to dinner and a movie.
I'm game.
I said it. You understand? Because servants of God can have fun too. I said I was thinking about it. So, Ephesians 5 and 18. Ephesians 5 and 18. Go ahead and read.
And be not drunk with wine, wherein it is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
He didn't say you don't drink wine. He said, be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. So don't overdo it, in other words. Because some people can drink, have a good time, and go home. Right? Man, I got to go to work tomorrow. I got to get out of here. And they gone. Right? Don't go. They go home. They beating their wife and hollering at their wife and arguing at their kids. Go home, go to sleep. Right? Be happy to see their kids when they come home, everybody, you know. But then some people start drinking and they can't control themselves. You got a happy drunk. That's the one be saying, oh man, I love you. And you're like, yeah, okay, man, I love you. No, I love you, man. He a happy drunk. Then you got a sad drunk. He always talking about all his problems and everything. You know, pass me another beer. Because he want to talk about his problems. Okay. Then you got the mean drunk. He got his sleeve on his shoulder, and he want everybody trying to do him wrong. So now he wants to holler at everybody and talk crazy to everybody. Then you got that drunk that want to fight all the time. They ain't gonna beat nobody up because you're too drunk. You know, I be watching those YouTube videos, cats be out there drunk, talking stuff and hollering at people, and next thing you know, bah! And he knocked out. I mean, you got people like this. And they have drank wine in excess. You understand? They have overdone it. They don't know when to stop. And if you're drinking or doing drugs even, and you don't know, you ain't supposed to be doing drugs in the first place. Let's just get that out the way. But if you're drinking and you don't know how to stop, then chances are you have a problem and you need to go get some help. Call upon the name of the Lord and go get you some help. That's what you need to do. If you got a drug problem, you need, because servants of God will have problems drinking. Servants of God can become an alcoholic or a drug addict. People think because you're a servant of God, then these things not supposed to happen to you, but they will happen to you. They will happen to you. And I'm here to tell you there is help, and your help is in the Lord Jesus. That's where your help is. Let's go now. Let's go to you finished that, right? Let's go to Proverbs 20 and 1. 20 and 1. Now this is why he said indulge in wine in excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Proverbs 20 and verse 1. Proverbs 20 and verse 1. Go ahead and read it.
Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging.
See, it's a mocker, and a strong drink is a raging. If you go out of your mind when you drink, you don't need to drink. Because drinking is for you to have fun, for you to be sociable, and for you to get a little lifted. You understand? Not for you to be a mocker and raging. Go ahead and read. Read that verse again.
Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
You know how people, they get drunk and everything. They are on what, you don't understand what they saying, they don't understand what they saying. That's how drunk they are. He said, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise, because alcohol will deceive you. It'll make you think that you can jump off of a roof. I've seen people do it. They get drunk, then they get on the roof. Look here. And then next, I'm getting ready to jump. Like, don't do that, man. What's wrong with you? I'm telling you, I have seen people do it off of alcohol. Think they can fight. Can't fight. What you gonna do? All they do is boom, trip them. That's it. Think they can drive better? No, you can't. You can. That's why they got a limit for you when it comes to your driving. They got a limit for your alcohol consumption when driving, because you are impaired when you drink too much alcohol and try to drive. You are impaired. You don't think, I drive better when I'm drunk. Next thing you know, they're over in a ditch somewhere. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Let's go now. Let's go to Proverbs, the 23rd chapter. Yeah, we can ready to get into it now. Proverbs 23. Proverbs 23 and 29, because a lot of us have experienced this, and I'm one of them. But I had to tell them, I said, hey man, that's enough. Enough is enough. 23, Proverbs 23 and 29. Proverbs 23 and 29. Go ahead and read it.
Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow?
Who have woe? Who has sorrow? You know the guy, y'all get drunk, he's sorrowful all the time. Or he got some type of problem he got to tell everybody. Go ahead and read.
Who hath contention?
Who have contention? He always want to argue all the time when he get drunk. It's like, man, would you go ahead on, man? You know, but he want to still talk, yap. You're like, man, let me get away from this cat. Because that's all you want. I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to drink and have a good time. This guy won't argue. Go ahead and read.
Who hath Babylon?
Who have Babylon? Well, you know why people, they get so drunk, they don't know what they saying. They don't know, you don't know what they saying. They don't know what they saying. They just babbling. You doing that type of drinking there, you don't need to drink. Because drinking is supposed to be sociable. You're supposed to have a good time when you drink. Go ahead and read.
Who hath wounds without cause?
Now you see that he got wounds without cause. He'd been fighting and everything. He wake up the next morning. Hey, what happened? Got a big old knot sitting up on his head and a black eye. Clothes tore up. What happened? He said, who have wounds without cause? Go ahead and read.
Who hath redness of eyes?
Who have redness of eyes? You know, you see this cat, every time you see his eyes red. He drunk all the time. You ain't supposed to be walking around drunk all the time. Not being a servant of God. Not saying you can't drink, but you're not supposed to be walking around drunk all the time, drinking all the time. Go ahead and read.
They that tarry long at the wine. They that go to seek mixed wine.
Skip to verse 32. What does that say?
At the last, it biteth like a serpent.
Oh, you see what happened? He said, because you started out doing all right. You threw a couple back, he was all right. You understand? But he didn't know how to stop. Kept on drinking and kept on drinking. See what he said? He said, at the last, it biteth like a serpent. That drink, it got him in trouble and somehow. And it bit him like a serpent. What else happened?
And stingeth like an adder.
And it sting him like an adder. And if you, this type person right here, you do not need to be drinking. You don't know how to control yourself. Let's go now. Let's go to, because we all have either experienced it or we know somebody like this. Let's go to 2 Samuel, the 11th chapter. 2 Samuel, 11th chapter. Now, some people can retain their integrity when they drink. Some people can maintain when they drink. You know? They can maintain when they drink. Let's go to 2 Samuel 11th chapter. 2 Samuel 11. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. 2 Samuel 11 and 1. Now look. You ride it. Well, I'll let y'all. We're just going to read it. 2 Samuel 11 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
And it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when the kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servant with him, and all Israel. And they destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem.
See, because, you know, after a while, David couldn't go out no more in war. You know, you get to be an old man and everything, you know, kick back, right? Go ahead and read.
And it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
Go ahead.
And David sent and inquired after the woman.
You know how brothers go, who is that? But look, she married though. She married. Go ahead and read.
And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the
Uh-huh.
daughter of Elamai,
Go ahead.
the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
See, she married. So this is the wife of Uriah the Hittite. But David, he like, man, who is that? Boy, she sure look good. Go ahead and read.
And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him,
Uh-huh.
and he laid with her.
Now, she couldn't resist because this is the king, right? So he went and took her. Go get her, man. Right? So they bring her back, and then he laid with her. Go ahead and read.
For she was purified from her uncleanness.
Uh-huh.
And she returned unto her house.
Go ahead.
And the woman conceived, and sent and told David, and said, I am with child.
Uh-oh. Now she's pregnant. Now she's pregnant, just that fast. She's pregnant. Go ahead and read.
And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David.
Now look, he said, send me, because David got something on his mind, because, you know, they ain't had no DNA and all that stuff back then, so he ain't going to be able to tell whether it's my child or his. So now he said, send me Uriah the Hittite. Go ahead and read.
And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered.
You know, softening them up a little bit, you know. How the war go, man? How did Joab do? You understand? Now you're getting ready to try to pull a fast one on him. Go ahead.
And David said unto Uriah, go down to thine house, and wash thy feet.
Go ahead.
And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mass of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house.
See that? Uriah like, you know, no, I ain't going to my house. Because most men be like, yeah, man, give me something to drink, give me that mess of meat, and I'm going to the house and sleep with the wife and see the kids. But not Uriah the Hittite. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. So he slept at the king's house. Go ahead and read.
But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house.
Go ahead.
And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down to his house, David said unto Uriah, comest thou not from thy journey? Why then did thou not go down to thine house? And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open field. But I then go into mine house.
He said, shall I then go into mine house? Go ahead and read.
To eat and to drink.
To eat and to drink? He said, my brother's out there in the field fighting and everything. Shall I go down to my house to eat and drink? Go ahead and read.
And to lie with my wife.
And to lie with my wife, because that's what most brothers would do. Hey, man, you got some wine with that meat? Because I'm going down to the house and get with the wife. Right? Go ahead and read.
As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth,
go ahead.
I will not do this thing.
He said, look, as thy liveth and thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing. So Joab has some integrity about him. Go ahead and read. Not that it was nothing wrong with him going down to his wife and laying with his wife and seeing his kids, and there wasn't nothing wrong with that. But he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Go ahead and read.
And David said unto Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah was that day and tomorrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk.
And he did what?
He made him drunk.
See, they were drinking wine. You understand? Drinking alcohol. He said he made him drunk. David was sat around for a minute and said, man, what am I going to do with this guy? He wouldn't go down to his house, sleep with his wife. Because, you know, David had got his wife pregnant. So he's like, man, what am I going to do? So he stayed a couple of days. Uriah stayed a couple of days. And David started drinking. Oh, I got it. I'm going to get him drunk, and then I'm going to send him home. Then he's going to sleep with his wife. Go ahead and read.
And at even, he went out to lie on his bed.
I start at verse 13 again.
And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk.
Go ahead.
And at even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his lord, but went not down to his house.
Now look at Uriah. He still, even after he had gotten drunk, he still didn't go to his house. That is really something. So everybody that drinks don't lose their morals. You understand? This man still retained his integrity. He said, I'm not going down to my house. Go ahead and read.
And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah.
He had his death message in his hand. Because David had Uriah the Hittite killed. All because he had lain with Uriah the Hittite's wife and got her pregnant. So David tried to pull a fast one on her. Go ahead and read.
And he wrote in the letter, saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die.
Now, he said, you know what? Put him in the hottest battle. Telling Joab, put him in the hottest battle, and then once the battle gets raging, then you bag up off of him and let him get killed. Man, that is really something. All because, you know, only thing, David, if he was really thinking, the only thing he had to do was just bag up off of him for a while, leave Uriah Hittite alone, then grab some soldiers and make him go home. He could have done that. Made him go home. But no, he said, look, I'm going to have this man killed because I got his wife pregnant. But the Lord watching everything. Go ahead and read.
And it came to pass when Joab observed the city that he assigned Uriah into the place where he knew that violent men were.
Go ahead.
And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab. And there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also.
And he died also. Skip to verse 26, because this wasn't pleasing to the Lord. The Lord watching everything. You understand? Now, if David, like I said, if David was really thinking, he would have just took it and made him go home. And then he would have had to sleep with the wife. You stay at home for a couple of weeks, and I bet you would have slept with her then. That's all he had to do. Make him stay at home for a month. Take him out the war. Make him stay at home for a month. You know he going to sleep with her then. A month? Come on. Verse 26. Go ahead and read it.
And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house. And she became his wife.
Now look, he done had Uriah the Hittite killed and took his wife. Go ahead and read.
And bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord.
The thing that David had done displeased the Lord. And many of us know the story how it went. You know, the Lord told David, I could kill you for this thing. And then the child that she had bore, that child died. Because David, he wasn't eat or drink, he wasn't doing nothing. Hair had grown long and all of that. So once the child had died, he got up, cleaned himself up and everything, and that was it. And the Lord had Nathan the prophet come back to David and said, I could kill you for this, but the sword is going to be in your house, David, for the rest of your days. Now, let's go to Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter. Ecclesiastes 10. Ecclesiastes 10, and we're going to pick it up at verse 19. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. Go ahead and read it, brother.
A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry.
You see that? A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry. And that's how we know that when Jesus turned that water to wine, that was actual wine. You understand? With alcohol in it. A feast maketh laughter, and wine maketh merry. You think you're going around drinking grape juice, everybody sitting around laughing and having fun off of grape juice? That don't even make sense. Go ahead and finish that.
But money answereth all things.
Now, let's go to 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter. 1 Timothy 6, and we're going to read verse 17. 1 Timothy 6 and 17. 1 Timothy 6 and 17. Go ahead.
Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God.
See, trust in the living God. Go ahead and read.
Who giveth us richly all things to enjoy.
Who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. And that includes alcohol, not drugs. Alcohol. God gave us that to enjoy. Because, people get them drugs, boy, they get crazy. really get crazy then. But anyway, so he gives us all things richly to enjoy. And that includes alcohol. Now, let's go to Proverbs, the 23rd chapter. Proverbs 23. Proverbs 23, and we're going to pick it up at verse 19. Proverbs 23 and 19. Go ahead.
Hear thou, my son, and be wise.
Now, you know, this is one of the things that if you have a problem drinking, this is one of the first things they tell you when you go to a program. One of the first things that they tell you. And the Bible tells you the same thing. Proverbs 23 and 19. Go ahead and read it.
Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thy heart in the way. Be not among winebibbers.
Stop right there. Be not among winebibbers. Why? Because the birds of a feather flock together. You keep on hanging out with people that's drinking and drunkards and everything. Next thing you know, you're going to have a bottle turned up and be drunken and hanging out. Read that again.
Be not among winebibbers.
Be not among winebibbers,
among riotous eaters of flesh. For the drunkards and the glutton shall come to poverty. He said, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty. See, you don't want to walk around no drunkard. He said, because they're going to come to poverty. You know how you see those people out on the streets? How some of them got mental problems, don't get me wrong. But a lot of them have alcohol and drug problems. And they have drank and did drugs so long that they have lost everything, and now they're out on the streets begging for money. And you do not want to become one of these people. So therefore, if you can't handle your alcohol and be sociable and everything and know when to stop, then you need to leave it alone. And you need to leave drugs alone, period. Go ahead and read. Drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags.
Uh-oh, drowsiness. It shall clothe a man with rags. See, a lot of times, like I said, you see those people out there, their clothes messed up. They out there drunk, talking about, give me some money. I mean, everybody, sometimes they want to eat, but then they still want to get that alcohol, too. I see them, I just go and give them the money, man. You understand? Because you got to eat still. And I know if you still walking around, you've been eating something. You ain't just drinking, you eating. So now we're going to look up a word here. We're going to look up wine bibber. We're going to Reader's Digest Encyclopedia Dictionary, and we're looking up wine bibber. What is a wine bibber?
Wine bibbing. Addicted to excessive drinking of wine.
Oh, read that again.
Addicted to excessive drinking of wine.
Addicted to excessive drinking of wine. You know, when we were young, we used to call them wine heads. You know, many of you guys young in here, y'all don't know what a wine head is, but we see them standing over by the tree, be about 4 or 5 of them, right? Next thing you know, they throwing that Wild Irish Rose back. Next thing you know, they out there blowing, start singing. I'm like, man, this guy's screwed, but they drunk though. We used to call them wine heads. And the Bible is called wine bibbers. Go ahead.
Habitual excessive drinking.
Habitual excessive drinking. You know, cats drinking all the time. They used to be blowing, cats be blowing though, man. But anyway, so now that is a wine bibber. We're going to look up a glutton. What does glutton mean?
Gluttonness. Given to excess of eating.
Given to excess of eating. So it's pretty much the same thing. A glutton man and a drunkard, you know, it's pretty much the same definition. You overindulging. You either overeating or you over drinking.
Voracious, desiring or indulging in anything excessively.
Okay, so now it said in anything excessively. Same thing. A glutton and a drunkard, same thing. A wine bibber, same thing. Does everybody understand?
Amen.
Let's go now. Let's go to Deuteronomy 21, and we're going to pick up at verse 18. Deuteronomy 21 and 18. I read you that for a reason. Everybody looking, why is he reading that? Just hold on for a second. Deuteronomy 21 and 18. Now this is what they used to do to stubborn children, a stubborn son. Look at what they used to do to them. You know, you got a problem with your drinking, and then mom and daddy start talking to you and telling you what they want you to do, and then you start talking crazy to them. Look at what happened to them. Deuteronomy 21 and 18. Go ahead and read it.
If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son,
Uh-huh.
which will not obey the voice of his father
Uh-huh.
or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastised him, will not hearken unto them.
Uh-huh. They done chastised him and everything. Father probably done grabbed him up and everything. You know how the man is, the father is. Hey, boy, you better straighten yourself out. Next thing you know, hey, Pops, I ain't gonna do nothing. You don't tell me, right? Pops done grabbed him and stuff and shook him up a little bit. Go ahead and read. Verse 19.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him.
See that? They done grabbed him. Go ahead and read.
And bring him out unto the elders of his city,
Uh-huh.
and unto the gates of his place.
Go ahead.
And they shall say unto the elders of the city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice.
Uh-huh.
He is a glutton and a drunkard.
He is a glutton and a drunkard. What they do to him? Go ahead.
And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones.
And all the men of the city will stone him with stones. There'll be a lot of young people stoned today, boy. A lot of you. Hold him, baby. Hold him. Get him tie him up to a tree and stone him. There'd be a lot, because I don't know what's going on with this generation up under us. They get some alcohol in them and they just go berserk, go crazy. Talk crazy to the parents. Can't nobody tell them nothing. Be ready to fight the police. All because they are drunk. And then when they sober, they act like, what? Ain't nothing happened. You know, what's for breakfast? You understand? They act like ain't nothing happened. Meantime, you're looking at them like, boy, I'm about to choke you to death. You done tore up my house. You're acting crazy. Read that verse 20 again.
20?
Yes.
And they shall say unto the elders of the city,
Uh-huh.
this is our son, a stubborn and rebellious.
Uh-huh.
He will not obey our voice.
Go ahead.
He is a glutton and a drunkard.
Uh-huh.
And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones,
Go ahead.
that he die.
Uh-huh.
So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear.
Ooh. Can you imagine that? That boy must have really got on their nerves. We're going to take you out. The mama and the daddy grabbed him and took him to the elder and had him stoned to death. They must have really got on, he must have really got on their nerves, boy. Because how many people would grab their child and know they get ready to get killed, have them killed? That boy must have really got on their nerves, boy. We can't do nothing else with you. Die. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 13. 1 Corinthians 13. Because this was an evil thing to be a drunkard in Israel. Don't you know a drunkard is not going to inherit the kingdom of God? You walking around drunk all the time. We're going to 1 Corinthians 11. Because see, you know, some people, they don't want to grow up. And that's really what the problem is. They don't want to grow up. Whether they're doing drugs or alcohol. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to stop. They don't want to grow up. We have 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. Go ahead and read it.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child.
Go ahead.
I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
See, always, because you know a child, he always want to have fun. Right? That's what a child like to do. They want to have fun. Whether they go out and play basketball or football or whatever. They playing on little games. They always want to have fun. And that's what's wrong with some of our grown people. They don't know how to, they want to grow up, and they think that their life is all about having fun. But life is not about having fun all the time. You got to get serious sometimes. You having fun all the time, then where you going to make your money? Right? When are you going to go out and earn your money if you're having fun all the time? When are you going to do it? When are you going to serve God if you're having fun all the time? And that's what, like I said, a lot of people, they don't want to grow up. He said, when I was a child, I spake as a child. When I understood as a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put those childish things away. And so, and that's what a lot of our people, young and old, need to do. Stop putting those childish things away. Let's go now. Let's go to Proverbs, the 21st chapter, Proverbs 21. Proverbs 21, and we're going to pick it up at verse 17. Proverbs 21 and 17. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man.
See, that's all your life is consist of. If you having pleasure, you doing your pleasures. That's all your life consists of. You ain't working. You ain't trying to serve God. You ain't doing nothing. That's all your life consists of is pleasures. You running around drinking and drugging and think you having fun. But don't nobody really want you around because you're always begging. Always begging for something. You go around people's house. I'm not talking about people that's drinking and know how to control themselves and know how to act. I'm talking about people that's drinking and don't know how to control themselves, and then they start doing things because they don't have no money, so they start doing things like stealing to go out and get the money to feed their habit. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Read that verse 18 again.
17.
17 again, yeah.
He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man.
He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man.
He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich.
See, you're not going to be rich because you run around drinking all the time. You're drunk all the time. You're not going to be rich. You can say in your mind, yeah, man, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get some money. I'm going to get this job and get that job. Then you go out. Next thing you know, you drinking or you drugging. You at home sleep. You understand? You supposed to be going to look for a job, but you can't look for a job. Why? Because you at home you this hangover. You understand what I'm saying? You got a hangover, so you can't get up and go look for no job. Then next thing you know, they go on, you sober it up a little bit, now you back at it again. Let's go to 1 Timothy, the 5th chapter. What about the woman? 1 Timothy, the 5th chapter. 1 Timothy 5, and we'll pick it up at verse 6. 1 Timothy 5 and 6. What about the woman? Go ahead.
But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth.
Ooh. He said, though she that was live in pleasure, she is dead while she liveth. That's all her life consists of is pleasure. You understand? Drinking all the time, drugging, don't want to work, just want to lay up on mama and daddy. You understand? Say, she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Don't want to grow up and become a man or become a woman. Let's go now. Let's go to Titus, the 1st chapter. Titus, the 1st chapter. Titus 1. And we'll pick it up at verse 7. Titus 1 and 7. Now, I know the lesson is called, Can the Servants of God Drink Alcohol? But, we had to cover this part because people even servants of God become addicted. They become addicted. And they, just like anybody else that becomes addicted, don't know how to control themselves, don't have a way out. And I'm here to tell you there is a way out. Amen. And the way out is that you go pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel, because there's only one God. So you go pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You sincere about doing something about your addiction, you do that. And then go and get you some help from Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Eaters Anonymous, one of those anonymouses. Amen. Go get you some help. Because some Gamblers Anonymous, you got them all. So there is help. And may you find it today. Let's go to Titus, the first chapter. Titus, the first chapter, we're going to pick up at verse 7. Titus 1 and 7. Go ahead and read it.
For a bishop must be blameless as a steward of God, not self-willing, not soon angry, not given to wine. Not given to wine. It say he couldn't drink wine. But you know, some man, you a pastor, you drink? Well, yeah, occasionally I have a little something, a little light beer or whatever. you a pastor though. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I'm still a man. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine. Not given to it, meaning not overindulging in it. Whereas you know, you can't control yourself now. You know, you're a wine head or a wine bibber. Not given to it. Go ahead and read. I'm going to show you who they call a wine bibber. And then, you know, I got a brother, you know, he wasn't drinking, he wasn't. Well, let's look and see what the book says. Go ahead and read. Not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre. Now, why ain't nobody reading that part? Not given to wine, no striker, nor given to filthy lucre, because that's what the church is about now, making money. It has become a big money business now. And that's what men do now. They take that filthy lucre, filthy money. They don't care who give it to them. Let me leave that alone. Let's go now. Let's go to 1 Peter 2. 1 Peter 2. 1 Peter 2, and we're going to pick it up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Titus 8. But a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate, holding fast the faithful word.
See, he said sober. Don't mean that you can't drink. But you ought to be a sober man, physically and spiritually. Go ahead and read.
Holding fast the faithful word, as he hath been taught.
Go ahead.
That he may
now, how can a person be drunk all the time and then stand here? That ain't going to work. And the person that's think to do something like that, after a while, you're going to be like, man, I can't do this. I'm going to have to give one or the other up. And if you're smart, you get that drinking up. Verse 9, read it again.
Holding fast the faithful word, as he that hath been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine,
go ahead,
both to exhort and to convince the gainsayer.
Go ahead. You drunk all the time. How you going to convince the gainsayer? He'll be like, man, how you going? You got a log in your eye, and you gonna tell me, let me get that beam out your eye? You drunk all the time, but then you gonna tell me something about the Word of God, and you drunk all the time. Nobody gonna listen to you. Let's go now. Let's go to 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter, 1 Peter 2, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 21. Now he said that's the bishop, right? He must be blameless, not given to wine or filthy lucre. We're at 1 Peter 2 and 21. 1 Peter 2 and 21. Go ahead and read.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin.
Who did No sin.
Neither was guile found in his mouth.
Skip to verse 25. Skip to verse 25. Go ahead and read.
For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls.
He said, but for ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls. Now, let's go now. Let's go to Luke the 7th chapter. Luke the 7th chapter. We're almost there. Luke 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 5. Luke 7 and verse 5.
33.
I'm sorry. Luke 7 and 33. Luke 7 and 33. Thank you. Go ahead and read it. Looking right at it, too. 7 and 33. Go ahead.
For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine.
Now, wait a minute now. He said, for John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine.
And ye say, he hath a devil. The Son of Man is come eating and drinking.
Wait a minute. See, he wasn't drinking no wine, see? Not no wine, not no alcohol wine, but it just said, right here, it said, for John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine. And ye say he have a devil. The Son of Man is come eating and drinking. Now he's saying this. Go ahead and read.
The Son of Man is come eating and drinking. And ye say, behold, a gluttonous man and a winebibber.
See, they called him a gluttonous man and a winebibber. So in essence, they called him a winehead. Saying that he's drinking too much wine. Now, do you think they would be calling him gluttonous and a winebibber? He's going around drinking too much juice? They had to have seen him drinking some wine in order to call him. I'm going to call you a thief, and I ain't never seen you steal nothing. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Amen. And Jesus, he's the one who's saying this, right? He said, the Son of Man is come eating and drinking. He's telling you, I came eating and drinking, and you calling me a winebibber, a gluttonous man, and a winebibber.
A friend of the publicans and sinners.
A friend of publicans and sinners. Now you're going to tell them about themselves.
But wisdom is justified of all her children.
He said, y'all ain't got no wisdom. He said, wisdom is justified of all her children, and you all don't have none. So they call him a winebibber and a gluttonous man. Let's go now. Let's go to Luke 1. Let's back up to Luke the 1st chapter. Because we know that the Bible does talk about John not having wine or strong drink. We at Luke 1 and 5. Luke 1 and 5. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias, of the course of Abia. And his wife was of the daughters of Aaron. And her name was Elizabeth.
Go ahead.
And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless.
Skip to verse 11. Skip to verse 11. Go ahead.
And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord, standing on the right side of the altar of incense.
I know he was scared to death. He in there lighting the incense. Next thing you know, an angel pop up. Go ahead and read.
And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him.
Go ahead.
But the angel said unto him,
you ever been that scared you stuck? You can't move. Go ahead and read. That's how it looked like Zachariah was here. So and when Zachariah saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. And he didn't say nothing about him running out of there, did he? He must have been standing there stuck, boy. Verse 13, go ahead.
But the angel said unto him, fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth.
Uh-huh.
And he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink.
Didn't we just read that? Didn't Jesus just said, John came neither drinking wine, and you said he have a devil? Well, he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink.
And he shall be filled with the Holy Ghost, even from his mother's womb.
Now, let's go now. Let's go to Mark the 14th chapter. Mark 14. We got one more. Mark 14, and we're going to pick it up at verse 22. Now look at this. Mark 14 and 22. Mark 14 and 22. You know, people think that Jesus didn't drink. Why would they call him a wine bibber then? Although, you know, they were lying on him, because, you know, Israel will lie on you in a minute. How could Jesus walk around drunk and then preaching to everybody? You got 5,000, 7,000 people coming to hear him preaching and gather around. He's standing there drunk. Come on, that don't even make sense. But you know, Israel, they're always talking about somebody. They don't care who you are. Mark 14 and 22. Mark 14 and 22. Go ahead and read.
And as they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed and brake it and gave to them and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." And he took the cup.
Now what do you think that was in this cup? Grape juice? No, this is wine in this cup. Go ahead and read.
And he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them. And they all drank of it.
Go ahead.
And he said unto them, "This is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. Verily I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the wine, of the vine."
Oh, you see what he said? Verily I say to you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine,
until that day that I drink it new in the kingdom of God.
Jesus is going to be drinking wine in the kingdom of God? That's right. You just read it right here. Verily I say to you, I will drink no more. He said no more. Now, what does that imply? He's been drinking already. He said, I'm not going to drink no more. If I say I ain't going to drink no more, then I don't have to drink already, right? You know how you sit there, you might be sitting at the bar, and you say, well, no, man, that's enough for me. I'm not drinking no more. That means I've drank some already. It's barely, I said to you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until the day that I drink it new in the kingdom of God. Let's go now. Let's go to Luke, the 12th chapter. Luke 12, and we're going to pick it up at verse 41. Luke 12 and 41. And this right here is a warning to us all, especially for those who like them grapes. Luke 12 and 41. And you can't control yourself and you don't know when to stop. This is a warning to you. Luke 12 and 41. I'm so glad the Lord delivered me from that. Go ahead and read.
Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all? And the Lord said, Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portions of meat in due season? See, you know, you're not, when the Lord comes, he's not going to rule by himself. His servants going to rule with him. Because that's the parable of the talents. He gave one a talent and he gained 10. He gave another talent, he gained 5. He gave another talent, he wouldn't hid his in the earth. But then he said, the one with the 10, he said, come, I'm going to make you ruler over 10 cities. The one with the 5, he said, well done, my faithful servant. I'm going to make you ruler over 5 cities. And the one that hid his, he cast him out of darkness, where there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And the Lord said unto them, the faithful, who is the faithful and wise steward,
whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season. Verse 43, go ahead.
Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
Go ahead.
Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath.
See, if you want to get into the kingdom of the Lord, then you can't be no drunkard. You cannot be a drunkard on alcohol and drugs and all that stuff. You can't be a servant of God or get into his kingdom. Go ahead and read.
But, and if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming,
go ahead,
and shall begin to beat the manservants and maidens, to eat and drink, and to be drunken.
See, he getting drunk. He said the Lord, he done gave up. Man, the Lord delayed, he ain't coming. He taking too long. So he began to eat and drink with the drunken and be drunken. Go ahead.
The Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him.
See that? You keep wandering around getting drinking, getting drunk, and getting high and everything. The Lord gonna come in a day when you looking not for him. You ain't gonna be worried about no Lord no more. The thing you be worried about is getting that next drink or that next drug. That's all you be worried about. The Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him.
And at an hour when he is not aware. And will cut him asunder.
Ooh. Gonna cut him asunder.
And will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers.
What's gonna happen to the unbelievers? Lake of fire, burning with brimstone. Go ahead and read.
And that servant which knew his Lord will, and prepared not himself.
That servant which knew his Lord's will, but he didn't prepare himself. He didn't say, well, you know what, man? I'm drinking like this, and I can't go to work. I can't serve God. You understand? Let me stop this. Let me go pray to my God and get me some help, so I can stop this foolishness. And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself,
neither did according to his will.
See, because that's what's going to happen. You keep on getting drunk and getting high and everything, you're going to stop doing God's will. You can believe that. Go ahead and read.
Shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required.
And the Lord requires you that you don't become a drunkard. You understand? He requires that of you. A servant of God can drink, but the Lord doesn't want you to be a drunkard. Go ahead and read.
And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. So there you have it. Can the servant of God drink alcohol? Yes. He can drink alcohol, but he is not to be a drunkard. Thank you.
Amen.
Now we're going to have the reading of the announcements. Don't go out and get nothing to drink tonight and get drunk.
Grace and peace to our brothers and sisters here at Israel's Church of the Living God. If this is your first visit, we hope you will come back and worship with us again next Sabbath. There is no eating or drinking in the sanctuary except for water. Brothers and sisters, please adhere to the dress code of Israel's Church of the Living God. Brothers, please remove any head covering upon entering the building. Do not wear sleeveless shirts, fleece jogging pants, shorts, tight-fitting pants, or any other revealing attire. Sisters, you must have a head covering. This is required. Hats, scarves, etc. Do not wear pants, shorts, skirts, midriff,